Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? It's time for another lesson. We're going to take a look today at the A major chord as I left you. So I find you playing the E minor chord. Let me just flip you around. Turn my speakers off. Let me check my monitoring. Check, 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 check. Okay. Let me turn off the effects. Number C. Right, so I left you yesterday with the E minor chord. Let's do a recap from the top. We started with our D chord. G chord. Back to D. And G. Then the walk down. E minor. And that's where we stopped yesterday. So the next chord we're going to play is the A major chord. And there are two ways of playing the A major chord. I play it with one finger by making that kind of a shape. So if you press your thumb and your middle finger together until your middle finger curves just below the joint there. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to cover 3 strings with one finger. So we're playing what's called a Barre chord. And we're going to be fretting the 2nd fret of strings 2, 3 and 4. So with one finger, I'm actually using the fleshy part of my palm here, this bit here, on the back of the guitar neck, and squeezing my middle finger until it makes that curve shape. Is that coming through? Let me come a bit closer to the camera and show you. So you see that curve shape? It's not focusing on my middle finger. There, can you see how that's curved? My knuckle's sticking out, and it allows this the high E string is open, so you have to be very careful that you're not muting the high E string. I do have one pupil who's learned that way, but most pupils learn with 3 fingers. Let me show you my middle finger now after having played the chord, and you'll be able to see where the lines are on my finger, where it's been pressing into the strings. Most beginners, however, tend to learn to play the A chord with 3 fingers. So fingers 1, 2 and 3. To do that, you place your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, middle finger 2nd fret of the 3rd string, ring finger 2nd fret of the 2nd string. So it's a bit of a squeeze trying to fit 3 fingers in on one fret on consecutive strings. And if you can see the angle of my hand, I've turned my hand around so that my fingers are kind of stacked in a diagonal shape to allow me to fret all those strings cleanly. And we end up with that A major chord. So let's take a look at the chord chart. And you will see that we are playing an open A string. That's a root note. Remember that major chords are made up of the 1, the 3 and the 5. So if you use your alphabet and you count up from A, B, C is your 3, that's a C sharp in this case, D and E is your 5. So there we've got 1, 5, 1, 3, 1. we're playing 5 strings. We've got 2 root notes, 2 fifths, and 1 third. Okay, so that's our major chord. And now let's take a look at how to do the finger picking to fit in with the song that we're learning. So we're going from the E minor chord, and we're picking with the thumb, the open E string, the 4th string, and then we're using index, middle, thumb, thumb. Then we switch to the A chord, and we're going to pick with the same fingers, but this time the thumb's going to start on the root note, which is the 5th string, which is your open A string. And I'm going to use the thumb again on the 4th string, and then index, middle, index, thumb, thumb. Okay, so let's play that together. Now I'm using, remember yesterday we used the high E string as a kind of anchor point. So I'm resting my pinky and my ring finger, just as I did in the E minor chord. I'm resting them on the high E string. Which keeps my hand anchored. And that's your A major chord. So let's play the whole song from the top. Okay, we're going to start on our D chord. 2, 3, and G, D, G, walk down, E minor, A, E minor, A, and back to D. And that's us at the beginning again. Back to D, G, walk down, E minor, A, E minor, A, and D. And you'll note that the A chord and the E chord both start with an open string, so that actually gives us a bit more time to move from one chord to the other. So when you're going from the it gives you a little bit of time to move your fingers, and again. So just play the open string before you move your finger. It gives you a little bit of time to get your fingers into position for the next chord. Okay, so that will be us for the week. Thank you for listening. Remember that if you have questions or comments, I'm perfectly happy to have a chat with you. You come into the group. I've started up a group now on the Facebook page where we can go in and have chats about anything you like. But if you've got questions, particularly about what we've been learning this week, just come in there and hit me up and I'll get back to you. That's us. I'll see you all again next week. If you have access to the recording, I recommend that you play it on your Spotify or your YouTube or whatever and play along with it. You know, I always find that quite satisfying. So have a go with that and have some fun with it. And I'll see you again next week. when we'll learn the next part of the song. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.